What's up, everybody? Niger and Damien G is back as we're here for episode 2 of M.O.D.O.K, the M.O.D.O.K that time forgot. Now, if you haven't checked out episode 1, step over to that review first. But yeah, we're here for episode 2, full-blown spoilers. And I gotta say, I instantly have to agree that Dippin' Dots is still the ice cream of the future.
I've never had it before, so I don't know.
Oh, what?
Dude, I've never had Dippin' Dots before. I haven't.
All right, folks, well, that'll do it for the review today.
As I go and get Dippin' Dots for the show, yes.
Yeah, dude. I mean, you're missing out on greatness. But overall, this episode, I laughed a lot more than I did the first one. Maybe because there was a lot more references that I was able to really connect with. I mean, he mentioned Hoobastank, which was like my first rock band that I took towards. And the reason is definitely always going to be within one of those sacred albums of my childhood. But also, too, I think that watching the second episode, it's still really kind of trippy to me that as a Hulu original, they're acknowledging that this is a Marvel property, especially because how they did Hailstorm again, that, this is something that they acknowledge and that they're putting forth effort into it. And it's just been overall a good series, 2 episodes in. Animation, again, is the stop motion animation. And this is brought to you by the same animation company that did Robot Chicken. So it just really connects in a very nostalgic way from knowing the comics, from watching Adult Swim and all of that all the time, and then now all the pop culture references happen. It's like I'm just taking to it a lot more easier than I thought I would, with less reserve, because it's always the idea of do they actually care about Marvel television? Well, no, because they essentially kind of shut it down, and then that went from the Netflix stuff and then the Hulu projects that had got announced. They were just like, forget about those. And then, obviously the Disney Plus things are now coming, which is the focus. So, but this one does feel like there is a good level of effort going into it. Even though Jeff Loeb, who was away from Marvel Television, which Marvel Television is completely shut down, he is still your executive producer in it. So still, there's a vast amount of effort, yet appreciation from me and what they're doing. Now, one other thing that I give it to you is that Gary,
love that guy,
essentially his minion, he continues to shine. He's voiced by Sam Richardson, and then I thought about it for a minute. I was like, I know that name. He was in that film, Super Intelligent, with Melissa McCarthy on HBO Max, and then he's also in this upcoming film that I've already seen, The Werewolf Within, which is going to be fantastic. And now it just makes sense why that character, who this seems like just a supporting character there, or just somebody for just a quick comedic side piece, is shining the way he is, because Sam is just that good, and he's making the best of these limited roles. So we see him for all of 30 seconds, yet it's one of the most impressionable scenes in this episode. So Gary, that's my guy.
Yep. That's the first thing I wrote too. I said Gary is a treasure. That man, he's obviously in a lot of pain from losing his arm in the first episode, but the way he's so dedicated.
Leave your personal stuff at home.
Yeah, leave your personal stuff at home, Gary, as M.O.D.O.K prepares to tell him about his personal life. To your point, I have some notes here. I mean, what's a Hoobastank? I thought that was a great line, because he was telling his son about Hoobastank, and I'm like, yeah, who doesn't like Hoobastank? Yeah. And then he tells him it's the Beatles, of the 2000s, and then the kid goes, who are the Beatles? And I know M.O.D.O.K's pain, being that I'm around youth for my other jobs, and I'm like, I know your pain, man, because we all hit that age of where kids don't know what the hell we're talking about. And it's a sad day. And I think that's what makes this series so far so special, is because it's blending a ton of Marvel Easter eggs with the people who made this show grew up in our similar age bracket.
Yeah.
Thereabouts. So we know all these pop culture references, and we feel M.O.D.O.K's pain, because the whole episode's about going back to when you were younger, going back in time, and kind of reliving those moments where you felt your most freest self. Yeah. And a lot of us can kind of identify with that. And that's what I got from this whole episode. It was a time travel episode, obviously. So him and his ex-wife, They go back into the past to go watch a Third Eye Blind concert of all things random, while he's still trying to kill Austin. He's still mentally trying to kill the guy from Grumble.
Yeah, he's sitting there calculating like essentially the percentages of like, should he do this or should he continue to fix his relationship? And he's just weighing the options here, and he's just like, sir.
It literally says save relationship, kill Austin, and it flip flops. And you're like, really? Really? But there were a ton of Easter eggs here. I mean, I got a couple down. I wrote down he was going through S.H.I.E.L.D. He breaks into S.H.I.E.L.D. with this Dave Deep Dish from Chicago, deep dish pizza. That cracked me up. Speaking in a Chicagoan accent. And I immediately, because I don't like deep dish pizza, I think it's overrated. That's just me. So him going the whole nine with that impersonation.
Looking like a true New Yorker, by the way.
You're welcome. And then him breaking into S.H.I.E.L.D. So he sees Cerebro, X-Men reference, the Ultimate Nullifier, Fantastic Four reference, and the Macron Crystal, which is an X-Men Starjammers reference, where he uses that to power the time machine, which we find out he never invented. It was he indented the time machine, not invented the time machine. And then, of course, with time travel, if you've seen Ant-Man, hilarity ensues. They go back, I believe, to 1998 or 2000. They don't really say what year specifically it is, but they go to the concert, him and his ex-wife. She stage dives. He's threatening people if they don't catch her. But again, there's this concert t-shirt seller, because if you've been to a wrestling show, there's always someone hawking merch at some point during the show, and he's getting all these little references to basically go back in time and kill Austin. So he decides to leave his wife there, who he's trying to woo back to go kill the owner of Grumble, the CEO of Grumble, who has overtaken his company, as referenced in episode 1. And he also runs into his past self.
Oh, wait, man. But wait. You forgot about the part that I was going to overly laugh about.
What happened?
When he looked at the merch table and he got the idea that he needed to kill Austin because of the idea of the name of the album of Kill the Youth. And then what was it? Strawberry. So he comes up with this idea that he can kill young Austin in this current time.
With Gogurt.
Right? With Gogurt. Strawberry Gogurt. While he was in his race car bed, which also I will forever ever love those, and I don't care how old you are. If you still have one of those, you are a rock star. But like, it's just like, where the hell is his mind at right now? Like, my man, things were going right. He messed up. They went to the wrong time. They went to the wrong year.
4 years before the concert.
Went to the right year. She's happy. She's having a good time. She's stage diving. She's living the best moments of her life. He even dodged the argument where she said, like, wait, why didn't we go? And then completely disavoided that. And then he was like, yeah, now that she's happy, what do I do now? Let's go find young Austin. And as you said, he runs into his young self, which it's just always funny when you think about time travel, and we all got our thoughts, beliefs, or misconceptions of what time travel is. But it's very clear that M.O.D.O.K didn't care, because he felt like if he killed his younger self, that would have just made this situation currently better.
Right.
Despite the idea that it could have made it drastically worse. And then on top of that, he just completely forgot about that, because when Jodie was basically like, wait, you killed your younger self, what's going to happen to you? He was like, well, at least Austin didn't wake up. Like, what? Dude, like,
he slept through
it. Yeah, he slept through it. Like, what is happening right
He's hating on Austin because he's well rested, apparently. One of the lines of the episode, I wrote this down in big letters, is we find out that M.O.D.O.K likes them big juicy butts. Because apparently he's arguing with his younger self. Who is this big hipped woman his younger self is telling him, because he forgot his whole I need to take over the world thing. I need to be M.O.D.O.K. And he became this cheap facsimile of M.O.D.O.K. But that line had me rolling, because he goes, you'll understand why M.O.D.O.K likes them big old juicy butts. And I couldn't keep it together, because again, it's blending humor with pop culture, with Marvel silliness, and I have an appreciation for it. And then at some point during, I think, going back to the past or whatever, it's revealed that the reason they missed the concert was because they were pregnant with their first child.
Yeah.
That's why they missed the concert.
Also, I think it's very, very a very good time to state that M.O.D.O.K is a complete douche.
Yep.
My man, Jodie was pregnant and he tried to kill himself. And we see her trying to single-handedly stop him as he puts a gun to his head. I'm like, because he basically said like, oh, now all of my plans are all gone.
My dream is over.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so he's like, all right, well now let me kill myself. I'm like, really, dude? I enjoyed that, but I will say too, I was a little bit like I was a little bit. I don't know what's the word I want to use here. Maybe in my feelings, or maybe in denial, because when he said maybe we can go back in time to watch Alvin and the Chipmunks shipwreck on the big screen like we should, and I think about that, I was like, I seen that in theaters. So I was like, wait, well, how long ago is that? 2011. I'm like, hold on, bro. Now, if we're talking about time travel and we're just going back 10 years, I feel old as I don't know.
My man went back 10 years. Wow.
Meanwhile, they were kicking it in the IKEA watching movies like it's a theater or whatnot, a home theater. But like, hey, I mean, we all inspired to be that great one day.
Isn't that the thing about IKEA is that once you go there, it's sometimes hard to leave because it's so damn comfortable to be in IKEA with all that stuff?
I don't know. Being that I don't live that far from an IKEA, I will say that going to IKEA is not the idea of being too comfortable to not leave. It's the idea that it's so big that you probably got lost, so you just say, you know what?
Let me just live here
for a while. Yeah, I'll just move in. But as I said, and as I started this episode, Dippin' Dots is the ice cream of the future still. That's that.
Fair enough. But also throughout the episode, he tries to woo his wife back, and we think he's going to win. And I thought, I'm so glad they went, they went left with that one instead of, having him happily ever after with his wife. You see them in the past live out their life through the window of their old home, like a bunch of weird stalkers, watching their families, their family be born, the living together, birth of the second son, killing of the cat, the super adaptoid being killed and made into what looks to be just a regular home appliance. And then what winds up happening is in present day, when they're about to go in the past, their past crazy person, white-haired selves who have reconciled and have stayed together through thick and thin, M.O.D.O.K, in pure M.O.D.O.K fashion, runs, grunts, and knocks the Macron crystal out of present-day M.O.D.O.K's hands, and thusly they fade from existence before Jodie has a chance to tell them that they actually do belong together. And also, we realize why Monica hates M.O.D.O.K in general, because of basically a rude science teacher or guidance counselor for her science fair, because M.O.D.O.K ruined her science project that was a self-replicating orange fruit tree. So no matter what you plucked from it, you would have gotten another fruit drawn right afterwards. So what wound up happening was that's her breaking point. You see her kind of go through the cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs eyes.
Yeah.
And then there was a break. So that is why, she's mean to M.O.D.O.K. That is why she's just angry all the time in the present day. But again, they knock out the crystal out of the hand, M.O.D.O.K pulling a M.O.D.O.K, and then they fade from existence. And then they're back to square one. So M.O.D.O.K has to move out. And he's living the I just got divorced Bachelor 101 life with the super adaptoid while he's reciting Third Eye Blind or Chumbawamba lyrics in the bathroom by himself like a sad, lonely old man.
Also, Turkey Man was...
Turkey Man. I literally wrote that down. I said murder turkey. There is a murder turkey outside M.O.D.O.K's, I guess, his lawn. It's like Peter Griffin's chicken. He's like, not today, Turkey Man. Not today.
Well, yeah, overall, I enjoyed episode 2. Can't wait to get over to episode 3, folks. So definitely jump in the comments. Let us know what you thought about this episode and the breakdown. And when you're done, step over to episode 3 and check out that review. So thank you so much for watching. We'll see you over there in a second.